Oh, good afternoon, beautiful beings of light. Sorry we're late. We were just chatting. Welcome to the Crone Zone, Conversations with the Ancients. And you got three ancients right here. You've got me, Priscilla. This is my friend Heather. And we are so happy to have Nancy Jean from Nancy Jean's Garden here. So welcome,
Yes.
Nancy Jean.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
So glad to have you here. All right, we are now live. So let's continue where we were until we get some people in the chat room.
Yeah.
It's pretty empty so far,
Yeah, it looks that way.
but that's okay. I know why, because I put it on delay. We had so much trouble with um, a troll last live.
Oh,
Oh my god! So I actually put this one on
Delayed.
a 5 second delay. So anyway, so what we're going to do today, right, is you're going to do a grid for Heather,
But I want to understand more about your
the garden.
Oracle Garden.
okay. We'll start there because there aren't that many people in the show. And the
Yeah.
Oracle Garden is a divination tool that I came up with. And can you make it bigger in the center? Do you know how to do that to make?
Oh, make that the big one. Yes.
Because it's really hard to see if it's the little bitty thing.
Wait a minute. Don't I just have to switch?
No, all you got to do is
What do I
click
have
it.
to click? Click
There's
this.
at the bottom, you'll see it's got one big head and little small heads beside it.
The
Turn
one next-
yourself into that.
No.
Okay. And then drag the garden where you are.
Drag the garden.
Yeah.
Got it. That's what I-
Ta-da.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. I
Yep.
hope you don't mind that we have it on delay because of that troll we have. But we've got Chris MK here and White Dragon, and I can't read that last one. Aquila. Welcome,
Aquila
everybody.
B24.
Cool. Welcome to everybody. I was just about to explain the Oracle Garden and kind of where it came from. I've been reading Tarot since I was 12, and I love Tarot, and I really think that it's got a lot of wonderful things we can learn from it. But it was born and created and drawn into our universe during the era of duality. And at the time, it was a year and a half ago when I started envisioning. I sat down at my desk one day and I said, I need to figure out a way to make a grid because people are always on me. I want to work with stones. How can I work with stones? And I envisioned literally this, but I didn't know how to make it look like this. My friend Alma, who also makes a past life or a kind of garden, she sort of helped me envision it. And what it has on the outside rings is the root chakra, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and then the tree of life at the top. And the spaces in between are true go for it, past, reset, restate, false. I created this and I can't say the words false, path forward, future and present. And then in the center, which is when you roll, which you'll figure out
The elements, all the elements.
the elements of
Air.
fire, air, earth, and water. And for me, fire, as I was channeling this in, fire is the past or past lives, and it's the things that your life, you kind of sort of the fire you walk through to get to where you are, right? It's a purifier.
Mm-hmm.
Earth is where everything grows from. When you get stones in earth, that's where something's growing. Air is thought and intellect, and it's about to take off, and it's going to be in the thought. It's going to be in that higher element. And then the water is what's flowing away from us. It's being strengthened and flowing away from us. So then the stones we work with are fusite. And for those, that's called the fairy stone. And I picked it because it's called the fairy stone. It's very much more because it's aligned with the fairies and the elves. It's much more aligned to the earth and to us. It's body, mind, and that's yellow orange calcite. And you can always see it's very bright, it's shiny, and it's kind of what our minds ought to do. Body, mind, spirit. And this is a piece of amethyst. And then I have grounding, and this is pyrite. And it's this one stone weighs more than these three put together. Pyrite's very heavy.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy.
And it's for grounding and for values. And then I picked sodalite for clarity, and you're probably used to seeing sodalite tumbled because it's a much prettier stone tumbled. It's a very dark wonderful blue.
Mhm.
The reason I don't throw tumbled stones in the garden is because I wouldn't have any stones in the garden. They'd be rolling everywhere else but here.
What was the name of the fairy stone? I didn't get the name of it.
Fusite.
And how-
Fuchsite.
okay.
Okay.
Infuse.
Cool.
I've never heard of that. Interesting.
And it's also sort of a blue. And I didn't realize this till I sent this out to colorblind people. This is a blue green. I don't know if you can see that in the stone.
Mhm.
And this is a blue. And one of my first test gardens I sent to a reader who's colorblind. But there is an app you can get on your phone. And if you can put just Identify Crystals app, it will.
I do have one on my phone, actually.
Yeah, you can put this up to it, and it can tell the difference between this one and this one easily. So if you have a real trouble understanding or defining stones, or you want to make sure you're getting the real deal, put that app on your phone and just put it up next to the stone. It'll give you the answer in like 5 seconds. It's really cool.
That's really a good idea, because we have been to at least one store where we thought we were buying one kind of stone. We got back and it wasn't that stone.
That's why I tend to deal. People say, do you buy your stones online? No, I buy them from a place called the Rock Barrel, which has been a bead and stone shop. I think it originally started out as a stoned shop. It was during the time of the hippies, and they sold beads that people strung. And we know
where is it?
It's in Richardson, right
Yes,
by
in
TI.
Richardson. It's enormous, and they have enormous.
They have big stones, but they sell sacks of stones this size, which I need for my grid, which we're going to talk about.
Sure.
Okay. So
I have one more question before you get started. Those stones that are at the corners, are those anything in particular, or
Yes.
those?
This is plain old quartz. This is don't ask me. This is agate. This is fairy stone. I ought to have it on in my head.
It's okay. I just
But
wondered if there was any reason.
These represent air, earth. Oh, this is a precursor to jade. It's not jadeite.
Nephrite?
Yes, it's a little piece of nephrite. That's and this is agate is quartz is air, agate's earth. It's that one's water.
Okay.
All right.
But if you buy a garden, there's a sheet that I wrote out when my head was all in one place. And it will tell you exactly what everything is. This is why people say, oh, that was so good. Can you give me the recipe? Let me go look it up and I'll send it to you, because
Yeah.
believe in ingredients.
Besides that, I don't follow recipes.
And I bought
So
one of those.
do either of you two have a specific question, or we just want to know how the weekend's going to go or whatever?
No, I just was kind of interested in more about it, because I figured when I get get it, I will be able to ask the questions and do stuff.
This is how I would read. There's several kinds of questions. You can just pick a stone, roll it in, and see how it works. You can roll all 5 stones in and connect them. There's just kind of any other way you can figure to work with it. Sometimes people say, I just want body, mind, and spirit. I don't care about clarity, and I don't care about grounding. I find that a little.
Huh?
Yeah. Well, but anyway, we're gonna do. Okay. How's the weekend gonna go for the collective? Okay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Oh, good. Okay. The collective right now, and this is probably shocks no one. The collective is burning off. This is body ended up in fire. Oh, and look what it did for us. A lot's happening around the collective, because when you see stones land on lines, you have to read every single space.
Wow.
It's like pulling one card and having to read 6. But we've got our body in fire. And what we're doing is we're going to be re-looking at our past this weekend. And I think most of us have that feeling, because Uranus goes direct on the 22nd or 23rd, depending on where you are. And that's going to be so much fun. And we are now in Aquarius, which is, I always feel lighter and happier in Aquarius. And it must have taken old, because last night I slept 9.5 hours. So
Well, that's the new moon's in Aquarius, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. And that happens on Saturday, 21st.
Tomorrow.
Okay. Now
That's what our show's about tomorrow.
our mind is in air, and when your body's in the past, it's working stuff out, it's ringing things through, it's trying to figure out how to bring its past into itself and live through it. Then your mind is in air, and it means thoughts are all important. I'm going to save the best for last, the spirit, and go for it. Then we've got our grounding stone. It's in the root chakra, and when it's there, it energizes everything and makes us feel more secure.
Ooh, I like that.
And then manifestation is supercharged at this time.
Wow.
And it's going to rise out of rethinking things from your past and how did they work.
Oh my God, I'm doing a past life regression on Wednesday.
Okay, and this also says you'll be fine. And it goes, look for patterns and values that you've had in the past to bring all this stuff forward. You know what? It is almost not in fire. I'm not going to even read it in fire because it's so on the line. It kind of arches around. It's in water, and it means grounding changes are settling into long-term patterns. I have rolled that so much for people in the last week. I really think we're going into that kind of a pattern. And when groundings all are aligned with your values. So this could not be in a better place. And then our clarity, and that's always fun. What makes things clear? And it makes, look carefully because omens are happening around you to tell you which path to take forward. Then we go to our throat chakra, and it says idea and wisdom's flowing freely now. This is such a one. I haven't seen stones this good in a long time. Third eye, clarity of thoughts are all part of your plan. Clarity is happening right now, and you've got air, and that means that you think it moves forward. And it goes, be sure your thoughts are clear because you think it moves forward. So this is great. Your clarity is great. Your grounding says you're going into long-term patterns, so hang in there. But then you have my favorite spot on the garden, and when Spirit told me to put go for it on my garden, I went, what? But I like it. And it says when Spirit's there, it means Spirit's aligned with all your ideas. So if you take,
I love that.
If you take all these images together, your body's clearing out a lot of junk. You're figuring out how to work it into your everyday life. All of the plans you're beginning to make, all the creative ideas you're having, all of the root centering, grounding, are moving forward because you're going into a long-term pattern. These are going to become our long-term patterns. This is the ascension. This is where us feeling better about each other and about ourselves. And remember, the ascension's for the collective, but it only happens if each individual within it works it. And this one says, this is all really clear for you. And even though you may not see it all the time, you're getting omens and signs on which way to move. So I would say, if you get a strong intuitive impulse to move in a direction, head there.
Makes sense.
Fantastic.
So that's how you read a garden.
This morning too.
Okay, White Dragon has a question about
the eggs. These are my eggs. And these eggs, I was channeling these in at the same time as the garden. And that's when I had my cardio problems. And the doctors still think, you have AFib. And I said, I haven't had it since I quit inventing things from outer space.
And what did the doctor say to that?
My doctor, are you ready for this? My cardiologist, his aunt is a well-known psychic in India. So he knows all about psychics. And when I told him what I did, he said, oh my God, you guys are not wired like the rest of us. So
I guess he understood.
Yeah, understands. The first one I invented was the first one I envisioned. I really envisioned this for a friend of mine named Bill, and it's a heart chakra. And it has the symbol for the heart chakra. It's got malachite on the points of the star, and in the middle it has a piece of blue lace agate. And I invented it for Bill because he's died twice on the table from open heart surgery. And he didn't die, obviously. He had NDEs. But anyway, he had a grid, but he wanted something to kind of keep with him and focus into. So when you get an egg, you get a wand. I send you a sheet It's really simple instructions how to tie the energy of that chakra into that egg and move it back and forth. And this will strengthen however you want to feel about your heart chakra. Okay.
Cool.
So does the client pick what chakra they want you to do? Or
Well,
do
right
you?
now, if the client picks anything but at heart or throat, they're in a whole lot of trouble. I have designed all the chakras, but these, when we started out, I was working with an artist who said they could do it for a certain price. And then the price has more than doubled since then of what it takes to do it. And
Wow.
it took a 9-month search to find a company that would even make these. And so they may look costly to you, but I'm literally selling them to you for almost no money for me. I got to have something to pay for your postage. But
Sure. And how much is an egg?
go to my website.
Yes, we'll go to your website.
Okay.
And go to the store, and you can see all these things and explains them all. And, and it tells you, and it charges you what you need to be charged. They're all eggs are the same.
Mm-hmm.
This is the throat chakra,
Mm-hmm.
and it has lapis. You're right. It's lapis. I just don't. Anyway, it has 3 pieces of lapis in there, and they're based on this. Now, the most interesting thing, I am currently collecting stories from egg and grid owners because I'm going to set up a testimonial page.
Good idea.
And some of them are so incredible. I keep reading them to my kids and saying, can I put this on my page? And they said, Mom, that person said that. Think about the weird things you say to people. They're not lying. There was a woman who got a throat chakra egg, and she wrote me about 6 months later, and she said, what are the eggs floating in? And I said, it's a particular kind of resin. I don't know, but it took us 7 tries with that company to find one that we could really do it with. And she said, should it get imperfections in it like crystals do? I don't know if,
Mm-hmm.
when I don't know if you can see this on here. You can't. This crystal has little bitty flakes of stuff that show up in it.
Mm-hmm.
I see it.
But at the very top, I just caught it. See the light that's flashing at the very top? When I first got there, that wasn't there. It's deep, deep inside the crystal, and it's like a plane. It's like something came through and went boop, it just broke that part. And that's an energetic thing that every time we go through a real energy shift, I have another thing called a wand. And when I first got it, it was sort of a clear wand. Now it looks like someone's breaking out from the inside. But she said, and she sent me a picture, and she had 4 little marks, kind of like that, just little imperfections. And I said, well, do you want me to replace it? Do you think it's wrong? And she said, no, that's why I'm writing to you about it. Because as a child, I was in a serious accident, and they had to do something with her throat. And she's had scar tissue in her throat her whole life. And it causes her, when she starts to cough, she doesn't stop. She has a lot of health problems from it.
Right.
And she said, she started concentrating on the throat, and she noticed it was happening less frequently. And she thought, I'm tying the right energy in. Great. And then she went to see her doctor, and 3 of her scars are gone.
Wow.
We think they're in the egg. I don't know, and I can't promise that. I'm not a voodoo priest.
Wow, but that makes sense.
But, if she didn't have throat markings, or if it had changed and nothing else had shown up, then you just say the egg took it away. In this case, the egg just didn't take it away. The egg took it home.
Wow. That's
So,
brilliant.
Cool.
So those are those things. Now, we have a lady who wants a crystal grid. And for people who haven't seen my crystal grids.
But I
Wait a
really,
minute. I want to show mine if that's okay.
That's fine.
and I want to thank you so much for explaining that. That is so wonderful. Thank you.
Let me see if it's here. Yep. This is the crystal grid that you did for me.
And what is it based on? What is the energy?
Communication.
Yes.
And it's hanging in my bedroom.
Mm-hmm. And I will show you the card that it was based on,
Oh, good.
because we have to pull those out for.
Isn't it a beautiful grid, though?
And the grid I'm going to, okay, where's heart chakra? I thought I had communication out.
Wait, now.
We'll get it out. This will happen.
No
And you'll
worries.
want to put that one be the big
This
one.
is the deck.
Do it again.
This is the deck that I
Right.
use. Activation Skybook. It's a wonderful just oracle deck if you just want to have a deck to pull from. Her thoughts are extremely profound. And she's Lon, Lon, and I can tell you no more about her because that's all I know. I mean, her auto is, my name is Lon. I work a lot with grids. Bye.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sharon, for writing that down. She said where to get a hold of it.
Okay.
You. Yeah. Sharon put down how to get a hold of you. So thank you, Sharon.
Okay, thank you. All things are gratefully received. And actually, if you go to my website, www.crystaldirections.NancyJean.com, this is a card your grid is based on.
That's right.
You will, there's a slideshow of about 90 of the first grids I built. And I need to put another 40 or so on there. I just haven't put them on.
That's cool.
Wow.
This is your card. And we thought it was perfect because of what you told me you were going through at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And can you go back to your grid or do you want to? Okay.
There it is. We're not there, but it is.
Okay. The frequency of communication supports our ability to exchange information in many different forms. It reminds us to run every piece of information, both incoming and outgoing, through our heart and the center of our truth, and to stay in the flow with the source and have a balanced exchange. And what you see there is you see the two, that's the heart and the mind, and then they filter it out into the smaller stones. And for your center stones, the ones to the right and the left of the center,
The ammonites.
those are ammonites. Those are actually polished ammonites. And I love using them for this because it comes from things that are living. It comes from living space. And is it apatite or azurite that's on the top?
I can't
Look
remember.
on, it's hanging on your wall.
It's hanging on. Yeah, it's hanging on.
It's apatite or azurite. They both kind of do the same thing. They're both blue. They both have a lot to do with communication. And I just really, the three center stones just all sort of fell out of my stone box together. And I went, okay, universe, do the rest of my job. But it wouldn't. I had to go.
You had to go do it yourself.
Don't understand why it does that to me. So I gotta move my stuff out of the way because now for the person who's choosing, you see those readers and they go, and they spread the cards out and they're all nice and even.
Sometimes
I'm
I
not
do
that reader. I am not that reader.
Heather's that reader.
I am.
He's amazing about that way.
Well, they learned, I know from Taro's apprentice, he learned to do it when he was dealing cards in a casino. Can you imagine having
Makes
him do
sense.
that?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever deal cards in a casino?
No, I never did that either.
And if the cards are not slick enough, they don't.
And also the
like
surface
that.
has to be right. But
Right.
and
Well,
you have
do
to
it whatever is the right way for you.
Well, that's right. And for me, it's slow and steady because I get confused.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And it gives you time to feel them.
Yep. And get you
I'm
time to
going
look
to
at it.
say hi to some people. Gina M, Amanda Carroll, White Dragon, Chris MK, Susie 007, Sharon Sight. Who else? Linda Day Gonzalez. We didn't say hello to anybody. Amanda Carroll. Thank you guys
And
for
Chris
being
MK.
here. I got Chris MK.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming.
Anna Kayla and Amanda Carroll. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say hi to everyone.
Some of those names sound familiar.
I'm sure they do.
Mostly Sharon Sipe, the incredible troll slayer.
She is. She
Yes,
absolutely
she's
is.
wonderful.
Hi, Jules. Jules is my yoga buddy. We did yoga earlier today.
Oh, really? Where do you do yoga on Zoom?
Yeah,
the
on my
lanai.
back porch.
Oh, then you've got someone close by.
Yes.
All I got today was my genetic swiper.
Yeah, but that's pretty good.
No, I've been trying to get it for a year. So, yes, it was
So
good.
you got it. Congratulations.
Okay, what I do now is I run my finger, and I'm sorry about the glare, but that's just my
That's
setup.
fine.
I'm going to draw my finger, and when you say stop, I'll stop and I'll drop, and we'll make sure that's the card that you want. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go. And I go very slowly, so don't.
Wow, Amanda Carroll, that sounds cool. Water yoga.
That's what I did to fix my knees, and I wish I could find a pool where I could do it again. Okay.
Well, I have one in the backyard. You're welcome to join us.
It's a bit of a commute, girl.
Yeah.
Stop.
Right here?
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as you said that, that card stood out to me. So I was just waiting for you to get
Soul time.
Okay.
Does that mean dancing?
Yeah. The frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge, one that will embrace the concept that in every corporal body there is a mortal soul, and it's timeless, limitless, and infinite.
Wow.
Cool.
That's a great card.
And that's going to have so much amber and carnelian and some other wonderful dark stones. It makes a beautiful grid. And you also have the 4 points of the compass highlighted there, which will be highlighted.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
Ooh,
That much I know about it. But then I'm going to have to dig through my cards and see it. There's some very unique shapes. There are these moon-shaped shapes that are curving back into each other.
Oh,
and
yeah.
this is you're at the center. It's a very beautiful blue. You can't see that in the card on the camera. It's a lovely light blue with a white in it. And then you have energy ascending up, down, and to both sides. But it's the mind and the corporal body both expressing the energy from your core, from your soul.
Cool.
Wow. Larimar.
Wow.
You're going to do great, girl. I will be working on that in the next week.
That is super.
And
it's not in the pool, just based on the water element.
Huh.
Interesting. I actually do yoga in my pool sometimes.
I had a friend who ran a yoga studio, and he just closed it this year. COVID almost did him in, and then finally he said, I'm too old to be sitting here on my elbows. And he, when he found out I had my knees done, he and I had worked on some political campaigns together. And so he got a hold of me, and he sent me a whole list of yoga moves you can make from the edge of your pool. And of course, when you're like I was, this is my 10th anniversary of having my knees replaced is February 21st this year.
I don't even remember the year I got mine replaced. Do you?
No.
They keep asking me, so I have to keep telling them. I mean, that's the only reason. Yeah. But anyway, he did you want something else on the table? The only other thing I can show you quickly on the table is I'll do a 3-month reading that I actually do right now as a 12-month reading. Does one of you want that done, or does someone from? We could do Sharon if she'd let.
Okay, she'll take it.
We'll have it done.
Priscilla.
Oh, Priscilla. Okay.
Yeah. And I think you only have time for one.
Okay.
Well, maybe she could do it for both of us.
Maybe, but
I can do 3 months for each of you. I can just do one on top of the other.
Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay. When I do a 12-month reading, I lay out 12 of these Archangel Tarot cards, and I'll do February, March, and April.
I have those cards. I just saw those this morning.
Oh, the same one?
Yeah.
Yep. I've got them too. Yeah.
Are yours autographed by Radley Valentine?
No.
They are not.
Actually, the weekend I got these cards was the weekend I went to Denver, which is the weekend that I found crystals, which was in 2018. It's when he published these. And he announced he was having sort of a little tryout party. And I thought, it'll be a room full of people and stuff. But I had a friend who lived in Denver that had moved there, and I hadn't seen her in a while. And I said, I'm going to come up to Denver. And she's into what I'm into. And she said, okay, fine. And we went, I called the place where he said to set up a reservation. And I said for 2. And they said, fine. And it was free. We got there. There were 25 people in that room.
Oh,
He
wow.
read every single person in that room. He explained the deck. I really got to talk to him for a while. And he and I set up a conversation since then. And I gave him feedback on the reading he did for me because it was very good. And he said, what's really sad is people don't get back a hold of you and you don't know. And
Yeah, that's
so
true.
this is February, March, and April because we're starting this so late. And
Okay.
this would be Priscilla because she called first. February, March, and April. And this is for Heather.
All right.
There was a girl I went to school with. Her name was Heather. And I was always jealous because my name was Nancy. And I was born in the year that every other girl was named Nancy. I never went until I came to college. I never sat.
You're right. There were a lot of Nancy's in my class, and I was the only Heather ever. And if anybody said Heather, I knew it was me. Now there's tons of people called Heather.
Yeah. And they quit calling each other Nancy. The only young people I meet named Nancy are named after their grandmother.
Yeah, that makes sense.
February, March, April. My best friend's name was Nancy, so I became Rutz for my last name, how it's spelled, and she became Bucky because she got a permanent. Her hair got all curly, so we called her Bucky. She was one of the first licensed and approved and flew for a commercial airline.
Oh,
Cool.
wow.
Because her hair was curly.
What year was that?
Huh?
What
It
year
was
was
in
that?
75, 76, 77, somewhere in there.
One of the first women pilots was in
Yeah,
that.
she flew for Western Air. Mhm.
Yeah, I remember when I applied to, because I wanted to be a veterinarian, and when I applied to Cornell, because I lived near the area,
Mm-hmm.
they wrote me a letter back saying, sorry, we don't accept girls. And I threw it out. I was so mad, and I thought, really, I should have held it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could put it on a placard now and march around and say nothing's changed. Great many things have changed.
Sad
Great
but
many
true.
things.
Yeah.
Sad but true.
But because people from our generation banged our heads against the wall, it's another long story. But anyway, Priscilla in February. Oh, my girl. The star. But look what it's being modified by. The 9 of Swords reversed, which means whatever's been worrying you and troubling you is going away.
Yippee!
When you look back on that month, but this is also a great month to cycle your dreams, to live in them, to dream them every night before you go to sleep, to bring it up. Then March. Woo! This is prosperity is arising from your wise planning. You're going to be thinking about taking a next step. It's probably arising from this because you have optimistic plans because your ships are coming in and they're coming from your dreams. I know people think the moon is kind of a downer card, but what it is the darker and twistier trail. It's not lit by the sun, but it's there. And if you choose to walk it, you can find it. Has a lot to do with April.
You can walk it, you can find it, even though it's a darker trail.
Right. And you got this tape, girls. You can go back and hear it.
Yeah, I'm not writing it down because it's taped.
7 of Ariel. The 7 of Ariel is equal to the 7 of coins. And it's really, you've invested very wisely, but it's not all paying off. This is all following plan. You've been working on something that's going to arise. You're going to find it, but it's definitely coming because it's got the Knight of Cups. Now, when I see Knight of Cups and things that are people's endeavors, it means it's moving forward from your soul.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And you're going to have, and out of this endeavor coming to fruition, you're going to have a whole lot of other new endeavors arise. Now, when I do a 12-month reading, I have 12 cards out here. And what I look for is months that have the major arcana show up in them. Mm-hmm. That's a major turning point month. And so you look at everything that's going on around it. Yeah. This obviously tells the story of the next 3 months for you. When you have 12 months, you can see it building. You can say, okay, here's what's going to stop, and you get to rest, and then you get to go on. Sometimes people have Major Arcana and Major Arcana, those are really big months. I did a woman this year, and I really hope she's a like once or twice a year client. She got the Fool as her anchor card in December next year, and the Fool was her message card. So I said, girl, I don't know what you're doing next December, but you got to call me. That's going to be
No kidding. I want to know too.
Okay, Heather.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, Heather's got 5 of Gabriel. 5's always mean change to me. This in the traditional tarot, those little turdy boys fighting with each other with sticks. But I like this interpretation better. It's a challenge for you to resolve. Withdraw from the drama of others. Don't get pulled into their battles, and you will find yourself where you need to be. And it's because you feel like people are giving you illusions and delusions. They're not telling you the whole truth, and you're going to be holding out and waiting. That's your February. Okay. March, you're coming into your own and finding your own balance. Follow your heart. Love, home, and family. Trustworthy information is coming into you. I think there's something that going on around you where you don't feel like you can totally ground into your spiritual self. But trust me, by March, you're going to be so into it because you understand that's how you get the balance of temperance.
Lovely.
And then April. Okay, it's the 2 of you. You can do anything right now. The 2 of you, as you're in your partnership, go after whatever you want. You're going to find helpful people. They're going to be the same helpful people that are writing in, helping Priscilla, but they're also going to be that element, that energy is going to be helping you. Mm-hmm. And that's when your 3 of rods is you're going to really, are you thinking about remaking your channel or restructuring it or doing it a little differently? Because
not really, not yet.
Well, I think you're going to do
what Spirit tells me to.
Well, I think Spirit's going to be telling you that. So that's, do you have any question about any of those months or days or whatever?
No, that's
brilliant.
Very helpful.
That's fantastic.
Anyway, when I do that, and I only do 12-month readings till the end of January, and you can find those on my website too.
Right.
This has been super. You've been really, really helpful on a lot of things.
Yeah, see, I'm looking at it and I'm going, God, does this make sense? I read A Woman Completely Blind on Ann Perry's channel. You can change us to us and get rid of the table if you want, unless you have something you want off the table.
Not unless you want to continue to read.
No, we'll just do us to us.
I don't want Nancy gone. I just want the table gone. Thank you.
Now you just make it even.
Yeah,
I will.
Okay. Did it. Yay.
I've got to fly.
We're normal. Yes.
I had to learn all that because I have the table with me on my shows. Normally I run a show at 1:00 on Tuesdays. I always usually pretty much. And this is what I do on the reading side. I also talk about earth elementals. I also have found an absolutely marvelous tree by me, which has a ley line. And I kept saying, I want to find a ley line.
Have you done it yet? Have you gone to the tree and
oh yeah,
you walked the ley line and it made you tired?
Yes. Let me see.
You watched too far.
I don't know if you can see this tree.
Yeah, let me put it up.
That's the tree I found. It's in front of my house. It's across a driveway and heading down into a creek bed. But it is the gnarliest old tree you've ever seen in your life.
Gnarly.
It is.
It's got quite the energy coming off it.
What's fascinating about it is this other thing that. Okay, that trail wasn't there before. We had a freeze, and all of a sudden that froze. And I've been here long enough. I've been through freezes. I never saw that trail before, and I got woken up one night and they said, well, we've given you the tree and the ley line. Go look at them. And so I went out, I talked to the tree. The tree likes to be addressed as Hogarth in our language. And he is going to sleep. So I won't get to talk to him again till other trees start really budding around him again. And I said, why did you, and when I walked down this, I went, is this a ley line with some dowsing rods? And they kept being yes, 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 yes. When I'd get 2 feet off of it, they'd swing apart. I wasn't on the ley line anymore.
So this whole path, the ley line showed itself to you.
Yep. And it showed itself that direction and there's this direction. This is heading towards the road. This is to the ones to the back side of what appears to be the back side of the tree to me, and the other's going the other direction. And it goes all the way down into the creek bed.
That's
Wow.
fascinating.
Yeah.
So I found my ley lines. And the fun thing about that show when I did that was, when I ran that show, I got 4 or 5 emails that day and the next day where people said, I went out in the woods and I found one and I went all around and I think I found the ley line. So there's a bunch of old gray-haired ladies walking around the woods with their pendulums now.
I guess we have the little copper dowsing rods. Maybe we need to go down.
That's
to
what I
look.
use. That's what I use. I mean, you can use pendulums too. But
the first time I ever used one, I was looking for a water line on our ranch.
Mm-hmm.
We just bought it. We didn't know where the water line was, and I used a coat hanger and found it.
Yep.
I mean, it nailed it. Boom. And it was just one little coat hanger.
So if you want to hear about ley lines, you want to hear about my dragon Cecil.
I want to hear about your dragon Cecil, and I'd like to know if Cecil knows my Matilda.
Okay.
And mine is Esmeralda.
Esmeralda. Do you guys have any questions? Let me put this up. If you have any questions, please.
Put it in capitals.
Do you want to hear about dragons or do you want to hear about ley lines, you guys, in the comments? Let us know.
Mm-hmm. But I was wondering how you got started, because Texas is not a place you would normally get started.
I started when I was 12. I was living in Illinois, in a very Catholic city, but
Yes.
but it was all my Catholic friends whose families had tarot cards.
Isn't that odd?
Isn't it?
No,
Wow.
it's not. You know, in the original tarot cards, the ones from the 1100s in Italy, they were read by priests.
Okay, we got dragons. They all want to talk about
Everybody
dragons.
wants to talk about
dragons.
Okay, I thought I had Cecil's picture still in here.
Oh,
let me see. I got to see if I have it or not.
Okay.
Damn, what is it? Frequency?
Dragons it is, you guys. They're one of my favorites.
Oh, we can start out.
No, I don't have Cecil's picture in here. What was weird is I had this dream where it wasn't a dream. I actually was dragged off one night and I was riding on a dragon and it was absolutely marvelous. And he was swooping through major cities around the world. And I could tell I was going over Paris thank God he didn't go over the Ukraine. They'd bomb me.
Yeah, I'm glad he didn't go.
But we swooped around and finally we got to the edge of the Atlantic Ocean from the European side, and there was a big hole. And he said, "Hold on, we're going down." And I went, "That's water."
Was the hole in land or in the water?
It was in the water.
Okay. And
I went through this hole, and I could see the water. It's like those movie things. And see, I have bad vestibular problems, so I can't ride a merry-go-round. And I just closed my eyes and said, "Whoa, this got in." And I was like, "He's a big dragon. How's he going to fit?" Because it was, Anyway, all of a sudden I felt us land. And he said, "You can get off now." And I got off. And by the way, he looked scaly, but it felt like feathers. So it was kind of odd.
Interesting.
So I got off and I was standing at the edge of a forest. I was in a meadow standing at the edge of the forest. And all of a sudden these beings came out. And they looked like every fairy tale character you've ever run into.
Wow.
And they were like fairies and Siths. And I was such a geek as a kid. I had the world mythology beside my bed. That was my light reading at night. So, from all over the world, from Europe, from Asia, from the Oceania, all of it. So they said, "Come with us." And I said, "Okay, fine. I'm here. Where am I going to go? I got to get a dragon to go home." Went in. They were partying down. They were partying. They were playing games. They were doing rituals. They were handling stones. I saw some signs and elements that I felt very familiar with. And I thought, this is so much fun. And I was talking with them. I don't remember all the conversations distinctly. And then finally I said, "Well, why do you have me here?" And they said, "Because you understand rituals and you're tied to the earth. And you've been to the earth almost as many times as any soul that's been around," which is something I've been told by other people before. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Oh." And I said, and they said, "You can see us and others are raising their vibrations. And as their vibrations get greater, they will be able to see us. And I said, yeah, but where are you? And they said, oh, we're here. We're ready to come out. And so I went back up and I got on Cecil, and he gave me a lovely ride home. And about halfway across, flying across the US, I felt like I fell asleep holding on to Cecil. And when I woke up, it was the next day. So I wrote it all down. I have a diary that I write all these things that happen to me down.
Mhm.
And I thought, that was just a lovely vision. What fun. And then 3 days later, I wake up with a nudge in my bed, and it's Cecil's beak. And he's going, we have to go back. And I said, why? And he said, you didn't get the message. So this time when I went and landed, didn't go through the capitals. We went right to the hole, went in. And they said, you haven't talked about it yet. And it was when I was coming up to my last 9 candles that I do, which is a ritual I do periodically.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what? And they said, the solstice is coming. You know it's coming. You know, you understand the energy lines. You know the ley lines are getting wider. You know we're getting the earth ready to be banded back together to wake up with a giant bell somewhere in 2024. And
I want to know more about that.
And they said,
okay,
you need to explain it to people. You need to explain us to people, because there's a lot of fear in the legends that they publish about us. And there wasn't one of them that I wouldn't have brought home and made a roommate. I mean, except Cecil, he's a little large, and I'm not sure my cat would approve. But the rest of them were, they were just lovely, lovely energies. And
well, that's true. If you read some of the old Grimms, they're pretty grim.
Oh, well, elves particularly took a hard shot in the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
They said what happened is they wrote those stories after the fairies left, after the elves. What happened is in the olden days, olden days, they could really see the earth elements and work with them. But then as
man pulled away from earth.
Now, no knock on Christians. I'm baptized. When I go to the hospital, I put Episcopalian just because I don't want them to ban.
I'm Episcopalian, or was.
Yeah. But it's when the Christians came in and they said, no, you have to listen to us. Those other things don't exist. So the people began to dismiss them. Mm-hmm. They were demonized. They were made bad guys. Mm-hmm. And so, but those energies have been here for so long, they've transmutated to being an earthly plane thing. So they said, we live here in the middle of the earth. That's the dimension we've had. That's where you are right now. And you need to explain us, because sometime in the next 2 years, we're coming through. And I said, okay. So I made the whole 9 candles about understanding all the dimensions around our life. But the other weird thing that was happened is the night after I had seen them again, and I was figuring out, I called all the people I'd invited to be part of 9 Candles, the other readers, and said, we're doing this about dragons. And by that time, someone had channeled in, your dragon's name is Cecil, and I got a message very plainly. But the drawing, which I'm sorry I don't have up right now, the drawing I have of Cecil, a friend of mine had gotten that drawing as an email from an artist friend who said, I don't know why I'm drawing this, but you're going to find out something about dragons, and you're supposed to pass this on.
I love spirit.
And not only did she draw the dragon, she drew a pink portal in space that looked like the portal I went through with Cecil. And she said, and she's an artist, she's never drawn. She said, normally she has to get a real good sketch out and all this. She just drew these. She had no idea of
That's amazing. That's
so
beautiful.
Mm-hmm. And they're gorgeous. I'll come back on your show, or I'll send them to you and you can show them to people. But anyway, why I haven't talked about it, I figured out how dragons work in the world, and I figured out how we can look back at how we've used them. Dragons have had a much cleaner paths than the other guys. The other guys have gotten demonized and ripped up and torn up, and some of them are, because they are of this planet and of our 3D elements, they can be that way. Mm-hmm. So they can be a little vengeful, but it's like anybody else, that's like that. You just let that go on and move on. You can't tie to that energy. For too long, we were tied to that energy.
Right. It's just like humans. Some are good and some are not.
Well, you want my favorite dragon story that I collected since I've started collecting dragon stories?
I love dragons.
this is one from Finland, and they have a dragon legend that in the Middle Ages, a young man and woman were found doing things they weren't supposed to be doing by the church. So they took them out and they hung the young man. I mean, he got out easy, right? He just got hung. She was going to be strapped to a stone on the water where they knew there was a dragon nearby and be fed to the dragon. And
plenty of things like that.
well, I can't imagine, first of all, as cold as the ocean has to be up there, that's bad enough.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they take her out to the beach and she's screaming and yelling, and they tie her to the stone, and the dragon comes up and he towers over the people, and he said, "Where is the father of this young woman, and where is the spiritual leader that should have taught her better? Bring them here." And they thought, oh, they just want them to have to witness it. So they went and got daddy, and they got whatever was the equivalent of a priest in that time, brought him to the shore, and the dragon said, "Please, everyone, stand back." And they think that he's going to impart words of wisdom on them. He reached down, he ate them, the father and the priest, and he said, "Let the young woman go. You have bad leadership." And he went back into the water.
Oh, I really like that dragon.
Yeah.
Yay. I like that dragon. He's great.
Mm-hmm. So that's a very, and if Angla's watching, I'm sorry, that's a very bad retelling of your story. But so people are contacting me, and I've kind of figured the dragons out, and I've kind of figured the fairies out, and the beings coming up out of the ley lines, that spiritual element uses the ley lines to go around the world. So apparently that's where I'm going to go meet them now and talk to them. And the more I talk to them, thank you, Linda. The more I talk to them, the more I will bring back their messages. But the other interesting thing was the day after I'd found out I have to figure out how to deal with this, and they were telling me they lived in a different dimension. And this is all stuff I'd never heard before. I turn on the most intellectual of television shows you can imagine, Ancient Aliens. And
I love it.
We know them.
I'm going to see a panel of them speak tomorrow night.
Cool. I love those guys.
But they
Giorgio.
did a whole show of what lives within the earth, and they did Telos and some of the other ones. It ends up all the elementals that were driven out when humanity became so tied to the earth that it lost its crown chakra openings and its ability to see. They live in a huge space in the middle of the earth waiting to come out again. And I'd never heard that before, and I'd never ever heard that. I'm 73 years old, and in all my years of digging around in this stuff, I never found that. And they did a whole segment on it, and I went, whoa, I've been there. You know?
How did they know about it? How did they?
Because they've had other psychics and mediums, and from ancient writings in India, the ancient writings that aren't about the extraterrestrials are about the elementals that help us here.
Chris says she's going to that panel. Where is it? Where is it?
It's going to be in Grand Prairie.
Oh.
At the theater, and I think it's called the Texas Trust something. But or she's going next Friday. I'm going tomorrow night, and it's going to be in Grand Prairie. And I just signed up for it on a whim one night. I said, oh, hell, I've made some extra money this week. I'm throwing it at this. And I'm sitting in the middle section, in the lowest level, 2 rows back.
Wow.
I think you're supposed to be there.
No, I was told at first I decided I wanted my money back. And then I got the message, you're not getting your money back. And I got it from the credit place, but I also got it from my guides. No. There are people who are going to
want you there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they definitely want you. Okay, Chris is going in Tucson, she says.
Mm-hmm. If you just do Ancient Aliens tour, you can find out. I think we're at the very beginning of it.
Huh. We'll look it up, but I doubt seriously if they'll be coming to Key West.
You never know. Some people really like to go to places where they like to vacation. So
yeah, this is the time of year that people are vacationing here. All the snowbirds.
Yeah,
this
here. This is the season.
Yeah, it's quite busy. We hole up at the house. Traffic's a nightmare.
Yeah, I have a friend who lives in Arizona, and she said, we're going home. They're about to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy down here.
Excuse me.
Coming and going from here, it's
Mhm.
crazy. Doesn't matter
Well,
when.
you only have so much road to drive on,
That's
when you get more people
It's
in
not
this.
much.
Yeah.
In fact, we didn't realize how little road there was till the last major hurricane in the
Oh
Keys,
my!
which was Irma, and
It wiped out.
it wiped out so
all
much. You could see the water was literally
all the
2
greenery.
feet off the highway.
Yeah, the highway was here, and there was nothing left of any of the trees or the greenery on either side. All it was
It
ocean.
was just
I'm going,
naked.
wow!
And it was
You
like, I
go a
had
little
no
ways, you're in the
idea.
water.
I had no
Yeah.
idea it was so close to the road. and
Thank you,
stuff.
Sharon. Sharon went back and found the link to my show on the dragon.
Oh, fantastic.
Thank
Good.
you, Sharon.
Sharon Sipe, you are amazing. Thank you so much.
She's
Definitely
secretary to the whole
moderator
of,
extraordinaire.
she's
what?
secretary to the whole of YouTube.
She really
She is.
is. God
She is
love her.
fantastic.
Well, it's almost 4:00. Any other questions before we close out the broadcast today, you guys? Why don't we pull cards for the
Just the general.
yeah, a general
Just
Okay.
one.
uh-huh.
Just one card, though. Okay.
One card for the collective. I bet they all like that.
And since we're talking about fairies, I'll use the fairy oracle cards.
Oh, those are good.
I want to know more about how dragons work.
Yeah.
Well,
You have to come back. You have to come
I
back.
have to come back, and I'll let you
I
know.
agree with White Dragon. Sharon is the coolest lady around.
I'll tell you, anybody, if you go join my channel, I send out notifications every time my mouth is moving in front of a camera. You'll be notified.
I get your notifications for sure.
I know.
subscribed to your channel.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, let's see.
Yep. And Amanda says more too. Okay, we're gonna do, or they're gonna do cards for the collective.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you need to know today, I guess.
We're in a big change. We're going to have, when Uranus goes direct, we will not have anybody in reverse until the 22nd of April.
Hallelujah.
good.
Praise the Lord.
And,
That's
and
all I can say.
this one talks about tree wisdom.
Interesting.
And
That's part of elemental wisdom.
right, exactly. And they're going to help in any of the current situations that are around.
Right.
And just listen, because she does play a flute. You can hear it. And you can hear it through the sounds that are made, what to do. I don't know about you guys. I do hear the music.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, I do get to hear a lot of the music that's played. And that's how I knew certain people were here, because they all have their own melody. And I would hear it. I said, so-and-so is here. But
She has a book full of melodies for different people.
I would write them all
entities.
down.
What did you get, Nancy Jean?
I have this teeny tiny deck because I cleaned all my oracle decks off so I'd have enough room. And it's in the garden.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought is, it's the card of control. A managed front, a wild within, which will lose and which will win. So
I love that.
So whatever's going on around you, are you going to keep the garden weeded and moving the way you want it to, or are you going to let the wild side show up? And sometimes wild side's not a bad thing to have show up.
I kind of like the wild side.
Just listen for your answers of what you should do. The elementals will help.
And don't scoff at them.
We have them in our garden. We don't scoff at any of them.
No, and we have a huge. We finally got it rebuilt. We used to have several different places with fairy houses and villages, and we finally got it rebuilt. They finally got the yard finished, so we could go ahead and put them out. And I feel like they're there. They're back in the house.
She created a place for them.
Yeah,
so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. They do help take care of making sure the mosquitoes are down. And if you listen to Eli, he'll tell you they all beat the heck out of the iguanas to try to keep them out of the yard.
I don't have a problem with iguanas.
Oh, they're
Yes.
a nuisance.
Yeah.
We have a
They're-
couple
they're nasty.
chihuahuas. We have a couple chihuahuas near us. That we could do without.
They may be a nuisance, but they're not like iguanas.
Yeah. No, these are like, oh, you don't want to get near them. They're so,
Prehistoric.
yeah.
They're salamanders. They are protection of the angry flame. They're in the salamander school of elementals,
Well,
which is that's a baby school of dragons.
right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mm.
Makes sense. So what have you got next? Tuesday? Is that your next show?
Okay, no. Tomorrow
morning.
I'm sending you the link to come to the garden class.
Okay.
Right. Thank
I Sunday morning I have Scott Allen at 9:30, and it's the only time I talk politics. So if you want to hear what I really
We watch it secretly.
yeah, I know. I've told Scott I'd do it with him if we could keep it on a teaching the individual person what their responsibility is in that. My problem with a lot of political shows is they just scream and yell at the bad actors, and they just amplify what they've done instead of saying, this is what you need to know how to do. Or this is why. I'll give you a perfect example because it's a very common one.
Sure.
Everybody's losing their crap because they threw Adam Schiff and Swalwell off committees. That's a blessing to the Democratic Party because now those two guys are not burdened by committee work. They can go all over the country and show exactly how bad what the Republicans are up to. So
That's true. That is a great example.
That's why when they threw Marjorie Taylor Greene off all of her committees 2 years ago, I said, no. Put her on the most butt-ass boring committee that you have to be there or you don't get paid. Because they could have kept her salary off if they'd have kept her on committees. As it was, we were paying her so she could go around and fundraise like crazy and build a reputation.
And she did.
And that's what she did. So anyway, so that's what I do Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon on my channel, Nancy Jean's Garden, at 2:00. I'm going to be doing past lives with Kelly from Dozen Cats.
Oh, fun.
Cool.
That'll be interesting.
So, and I'm going to post that up. And if you want to have a past life reading and you're tied up and you get my notification post, you're most likely to get a reading on that show if you sign in early, because I can only do so many and then I get tired.
Okay,
So-
you hear that, guys? Sign in early if you want to get it.
Right. And go join my channel if you want to be able to sign in early.
Yep.
And then Monday. Something's happening Monday, and I don't know what, but I'll let you know. And Tuesday, I roll back into my regular Tuesday show.
Right.
And maybe, I think Monday, I have 2 or 3 12-month readings. I can do about 5 12-month readings in a day, and then I'm wiped. And
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think tomorrow we have a show on the new moon. And then Sunday,
Aquarius.
yeah, new moon in Aquarius. And then Sunday we have Allie Martin, of course. And she's going to be here at 3:00, our normal time. What's her channel? I've forgotten.
Soul Connection.
Oh,
Yeah.
But it's not just Soul Connection.
It's something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But everybody knows who we're talking about anyway. She'll be here on Sunday at 3. And then Tuesday will be our last show for a week or so. Heather's having surgery on next Friday on her neck. So we're going to be gone for the weekend. And then we'll be back.
I plan on being back real soon, like Tuesday, even if she says maybe not. Depends on whether I can speak or not.
What time is your surgery?
We don't
I have
know.
to be there at 7:30 in the morning.
Okay, so you just need to put early light. I have a health candle that I burn on my. It's like my flag to the Ukrainians. If I know someone's got surgery or something, and I'm at that age where I know altogether too many people that are getting little bits and pieces fixed.
Yeah,
little
well, you
bits
and I are the
pieces
same age,
fixed.
so we're good.
Heart and soul connected. That's Allie's
Heart
chick.
and Soul Connected. Thank you, guys. I can't believe I forgot it. I'm so sorry, Allie. I didn't mean to forget your stuff.
I think readers understand when you're in a reader state, when I'm not, if you could meet me just walking down the street, which would be hard because I don't do that much either. But
I don't either.
but if I was just out and away and not thinking about this world, I can start rattling all kinds of stuff off. But when I get focused in, I can only kind of bring in what my guides are saying. This is okay. You can do this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That makes sense. I totally get that.
Right.
I go
Yeah.
off into la la land and I can't speak. Thank God she takes notes.
Yeah, I do take notes.
Anyway, so we're going to say goodnight to everybody
Mhm.
or good afternoon to everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
And please send out all the love and joy that you can to everybody in the world. They all need it.
Right.
Yeah, our earth needs it. So, and go out there and shine your light. Show everybody
Yes.
how beautiful you are, because each and every one of you are beautiful.
Mhm.
Yes.
We love you and we appreciate all the love that you send our way.
And we thank you so much, Nancy Jean, for being here.
Yes, thank you
Oh,
very
no
much,
problem.
Nancy
Wonderful.
Jean, and I hope you'll come back soon. That was fun.
That was
Heather,
nice.
you need to. I got your email. Okay, don't worry about it because I know, because I saw it in the garden. So
Yeah,
I can,
you got it.
and I've got Priscilla's address, so I can get the garden through her to you. Okay.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Same address, no problem. All right. Love you guys.
Love everybody.
Have a good day, everybody. Bye bye.
See you.